Good morning, and thank you for joining us today as the LA Latino Chamber continues AI Week with our second session. We have a few great speakers for this series, and we are excited to bring you information that you can take away and incorporate AI into your business. I'm Olivia Rios, Director of Operations and Programs, and I'm excited and delighted to hear from Louis today. As mentioned yesterday, we were mindful in putting this webinar series together to ensure that we share the resources to help you be successful. We heard from our speaker yesterday on the various platforms available to help you level your business, and if you didn't have the opportunity to participate in that session, we have a recording for you. As artificial intelligence, or AI, rapidly evolves, our businesses need to embrace to transform the way we do business. As we hear in the news, AI is one technology that if we fail to get on board, other businesses will thrive because they are in par with technology. You can't turn on the news without hearing how AI is rapidly accelerating and new technologies are being developed daily. So if we don't embrace this new tool, we most likely will be left behind. Today, we hear from Louis Reyes, president of Blue Icon Communications, who will discuss leveraging AI for impactful marketing content. Louis presented a few weeks ago on LinkedIn Hacks and is back with us today to share how technologies transform marketing content and how to discover innovative ways on how AI can generate creative content. Please hold your questions or discussions to the end and certainly write your questions in the chat. After the presentation, Mayra Braga, account executive at Delta Airlines, will share perks for small to medium-sized businesses. We'd like to thank Louis in advance for speaking with our members and community, and I'm so looking forward to learning more. So welcome, Louis.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. I really appreciate it, Olivia, for the introduction. And I'm excited to present AI as we are doing AI Week. I attended the webinar yesterday, and Roberto did a great job in showing all the amazing things that are happening. And it really is. I've been doing this for about 25 years, since the 90s. So in terms of tech, I've been around for a while. And it definitely reminds me of the dot-com bubble. The rush, and everyone's going out there. Who's going to be first? How is AI being introduced in all aspects of our lives? And we're going to do a brief overview of some of the things we can do specifically to content marketing, content in development, writing, and hopefully we can get some tips and some ways, useful tools that are out there for leveraging AI for impactful content marketing. Pretty much some house rules. I know people are coming in, it's early still. We will entertain questions and answers and discussion at the end, but if you have, when I'm doing some overviews of any software, please just put in the chat and we will take questions there. The presentation and some AI resources will be provided to everyone who's attending. So you signed up, we have your contact, we'll just email directly a link to you can get all the actual slide deck. So what we're going to talk about today, one of the things is what is the power of AI in marketing and how it's going to affect everyone. When I say marketing, it's more of probably not only the marketing aspect, but also public relations and communications, the MarCom aspects of this, because when developing content, and that's specific to writing, it affects all that, especially those of us who write for a living and do a lot of daily tasks. AI will make it simpler. Prompt language engineering. This is important. AI's really, ChatGPT through OpenAI has come out last year, end of last year, like last quarter. I believe it's October. And this is based on talking and speaking through text, natural human language. But one of the things that we have to understand is prompt language engineering. If you haven't used it, that's one of the important things that we're going to do. Then we're going to go into some AI writing tools that I've used and I do recommend, from the basic free one to more of an enterprise versions. We're going to talk a little about Chrome extension. Chrome extension, you can put AI. I'm not sure if anyone has used Chrome extensions. If you want to let me know by raising your hand or putting a 1 that you're using Chrome extensions on your browser. Okay, I see you, Cliff and Grant. Yeah, Chrome extensions are awesome. And then finally, before going to Q&A, we're going to talk briefly on regulatory and ethical guidelines on AI. When we use AI, especially with marketing and interacting with consumers or the general public, we have to be very careful and follow regulatory and ethical guidelines. I think this is critical as we go into and start using a new technology in our daily lives. So a little bit about us. My name's Louis. Again, I've been working 25 years in digital marketing space. Primarily started with government and business. I worked for elected officials, worked a lot of political campaigns, did a lot of business. And so I've always been, that was my side hustle, right? 25 years. I started going and creating websites with my friends in college and went to email marketing and then went into social. And now we're looking at a little bit more complex interaction and engagement with technology. I'm a 4th generation small business owner. I started working in my dad's office like my kids, 11-year-old, sweeping, doing vintage chores. Got a degree, went to USC, fight on in management. If you're interested, MBTI, IMNINTJ. So definitely a little bit, something like this is also at times a little nervousing, but definitely I like to go deep dives into very complex matters. And because of that, my superpower is navigating chaos, thus being more involved in the political space, but also really helping marketing, businesses, public relations with nonprofits. I'm really adept at that. So Blue Icon Communications, we empower our clients with consulting and building better relationships with strategic strategies and data-driven insights. So that's a little bit about us. And let's go into, I've used this quote before and I really like it, is to win in a volatile and in uncertain environments, executives need to learn how to exploit short-lived opportunities with speed and decisiveness. And I can't, this is such a critical and important quote that I like to use because in technology, there is short-lived opportunities. Things change. I can go back in the 90s when we were selling websites and two of my best friends, we worked under Turnitin Digital, and we would go and talk about web development, and really it was hard because then people weren't really truly convinced. As we've seen 25 years later, we know it's here to stay. And I think that because of that, you'll see the window of opportunities with new technologies are getting smaller and smaller. And that is because it is short-lived. AI chat, OpenAI is just a little over a year old. And I think that if we don't learn it, then we use the opportunities because especially people of color, business owners, we don't have maybe resources or access to mainstream businesses and they implement first and then we become a competitive disadvantage. So please use it. This is something that I believe is really important. So impacts, a little bit about what the impact is on society. Well, one, it's new ways in educate to learn, resurrection of historic figures. And this is an interesting thing that I can go on. If you're a sci-fi fan like me, you'll know that when you gather AI and enough data, and you have a big enough footprint, at one point, AI is going to recreate personas based on digital footprints that's left behind. I like that's there. Engaging with chatbots. I know Roberto mentioned chatbots. And chatbots will now become more and more engaging as human language, the AI starts to learn more. Misinformation, we've encountered a lot of misinformation over the last several years, and there's a lot of regulatorial coming about not preventing misinformation. So AI is going to be a point where we have to really understand, is it true or not? Is this real or not? And of course, enhanced self-expression. These are tools that, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm more a writer, but I've always worked with our graphic designer teams, our creative teams to give them direction. Now, recently, I've used AI to create graphics in my work product that provided what my view was without having to help out as from a graphic designer. Even though I do believe graphic designers are critical in part of communications and marketing, the creative aspect will never leave, but you do have to have someone driving the AI who really understands. Employees reshape workflows, new and reshape jobs, productivity enhancement, and assisted task completion. Employees, there will be a lot of training and education as you introduce processes that will increase productivity through AI. So you're going to see that impact. And in enterprise, knowledge and creation and management. So what's your knowledge, and then how do you create it and management? You get an AI advantage. Again, enterprises that are implementing AI are going to be at a competitive advantage than anything else. R&D acceleration. And I've used the R&D recently with ChatGPT. You go into conversation, you ask it thoughts, and then you're going to go and see how it helps you with the flow and brainstorming. So I think that was really helpful in R&D acceleration. And you can play with the current ChatGPT, the free one. It's fun. I do it often and see, just on random ideas. Revenue growth, you're going to see increased revenue growth because operations will be more seamless and efficient, and that will thus go into relevant growth. Then you go increase production, lower cost. I think for consumers, and that's something that for business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to really look at how will AI impact our consumers through new experiences, adjusted expectations. Consumers will have higher expectations. So if we don't engage with AI, the experience won't be as well as a competitor who will. Understand that AI will be everywhere, deeper engagement, chat-focused experiences, and enhanced consumer data. This is important as well. We'll go into more of the ramifications of when we get data, the privacy aspects of it, and when we get data through AI. So what does it mean, AI in the context of marketing? Well, it delivers relevant content. Content will be specialized. We have a few questions here I'm gonna talk about before we move on. So websites. I think websites irrelevant is now it's more than just a flat, and it has been a long time, just a flat kind of here's information. Now it's in more engaging websites that are not engaging, that go into more of a system that's platform that's connected to everything and within an AI, and we'll see more and more of that with our clients. You have websites that go into a funnel, into a CRM system that collects data, that has AI that engages with consumers based on prompts. So those are some of the items, depending on what is your goals, organizational goals. Everything is already, so you've already seen the major Google and Apple and everything trying to get their AI. Right now, ChatGPT-3 is an open source that you can connect it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So back to the context, targeting consumers at the right time, the right channel. AI will give us data that say this is the time that when a consumer's in that 5% mode ready to buy, to target it more in a better way. I'm increasing consumer experiences, able to create avatars that relate to consumers, increasing conversions and driving ROI, automated repetitive tasks. And this is the thing that a lot of what we've been seeing is repetitive tasks and doing the daily social media posts. I consider that, even though it's a creative aspect, creating 365 posts every day, a year, every day, it is repetitive, and AI will help with that, because from a creative aspect of it, sitting there and writing is just, it's ongoing, it's repetitive. Creating personal engagement, once you have an AI, you have a CRM, that you have a client in your CRM, or consumer, or a lead, and they have enough data points, then the AI will learn from those data points and create personal engagement from those data points. And of course, ethical use of data, ensuring consent and transparency. Those are so key, if from consumers' viewpoint, that they have consent of how to use their data, and say if it's not sold to other organizations, or if it's done, making sure you have secure, so their data is protected. I'm getting some broken links here. So we're going to go creative content with generation AI. We're going to start with ChatGPT. Grammarly, I use Grammarly. I've been using Grammarly since 2014. I have here, I've broken links, Jasper, and then Copy AI. So Jasper and Copy AI are more, I want to say, enterprise versions. And I compare them as if you use a social media management tool, from your basic free one to Sprout Social, which tends to be more of a, enterprise version. But first, before we go into these websites, AI prompt engineering. Prompt engineering for AI is, like Chapter, involves inputs that's effective to guide the AI to generate the desired output. It eventually will go into more of a natural language of saying, hey, talking to the AI and giving it direction. But right now, the prompt structures you should know some basic prompt structure, and I'm going to share one of the most basic one. There's other prompt structures, there's other resources. But again, I've been playing with AI for over a year now. And once you get the hang of it, it's just practice with any new item. So here's a good basic, if you never used AI, and how many people have used ChatGPT, the free version at least? If you want to put 1, if you haven't used AI, can you put 2? So I can see, so Grant, Drew, Patricia, Jules, Luis, so a lot of people, awesome. All right, so if most people have, I think this is some of the basic things. You'll see a lot of free resources out there about prompt structures. If you come up with a prompt structure, save it, understand it, because if you're like, for me, I had different clients, and when I'm developing their voice, their brand voice, and I have a specific prompt structure that I use to go through that process. I refer to the one that I created that was the most effective. Again, AI learns, and it learns based on your prompt structure formula. And here's a really basic one, is the context is one. You tell them who they are, what the AI is. You can give it very different. In this case, you're an experienced content writer with high level of expertise and authority within the tech industry. I like to quantify a little bit more. I usually put like years of experience, what level if you're an executive level C-suite, or if you're, if this is what you do, the task. So you tell them what the task is. You'll be publishing on websites, email, newsletter, advertising. You always want to give them some type of task. You'll be writing a blog. You'll be doing this. An instruction. I'll provide you with topic sentences and come up with engaging topic. You will write multiple things in this section. And then you clarify. Once you clarify, or you say, do you have questions? Do you understand? Are you ready? It usually gives you a prompt of like, and repeats what it wants to do. So on ChatGPT, they'll say, okay, this is what I have. Am I clear? And then you can say yes, or let's move forward. Once it's and an output is done, then you can refine it. And of course, when you're refining your outputs, it might take a few times till you get it right. And again, it really depends on your level of expertise. And I think some of the people with AI that talk about AI say, well, they're going to remove jobs. AI is there to enhance. It's going to go faster. Things aren't going to take longer. But the expertise that goes within any profession that you're part of, the AI can't learn that. I mean, you're going to tell them an expertise, but you have to still look at it and make sure that it's correct. And even with writing, I mean, I don't get anything raw from ChatGPT, even though I use it for looking at my free writing, creating other writing based on my feedback, and then I put it in another program to refine it. So let's go into the demos. So ChatGPT. So if most of us have used it, I think definitely you should invest the $20 a month for ChatGPT 4. It's a paid version. You get a whole lot of access to more. So it's worth it from a business expense, a marketing expense. If you're in business, use it. Of course, try for free. There's so much out there. Always try the free versions, but this is what I use. Now, I think that Roberto, who attended yesterday? Did everyone attend? If you put yes, put 1, 2 if no, because I don't want to recreate creating things. So, okay, a few people didn't attend. All right. So I will then use Copywriter. So I have ChatGPTs I'll use, and it says here, this is my prompt. You are a marketing copywriter who special sold copy. Our client is Kwanzaa holiday. Please write concise. So here I use ongoing ones. So it's a copywriter on social media. I'm going to say what's coming up. Cinco de Mayo. We need 5 social media posts for a Cinco de Mayo celebration that is occurring that day I'm in Whittier. Please write engaging posts and ask for to RSVP. So this is the great thing about this is before when I would have to write, part of the editorial calendar and write all these posts, this will take time. A lot of people in our industry, and I see there's a few of them, I've learned being a part of a mastermind group of digital marketers based out of Texas, everyone outsources this information. So most digital agencies outsource this. Now it's outsourced to AI. So it's not going to be outsourced to someone else. And I found most of the big digital agencies are either based in Texas, Austin, or Canada. So here we go. We have the 5. And it's just that simple. I mean, that's something that ChatGPT does. But what I like to do is I'm going to take my wife is a Spanish translator, and we go, well, we're going to have a Spanish speaking clientele. And I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go into English Spanish, and it does a great job. I mean, she's pretty nice. And I'll say, you know what? I need to write Spanish copy. I did set this up, the prompts for engineering, to say that a specific type of Spanish that's spoken in Los Angeles or the United States that is similar to La Opinion. So I did have to give it some direction. This is something I use ongoing, but it took a few times for direction. I'm not a primary Spanish speaker, but I do understand there's different levels of Spanish. And when we develop collateral materials or social media, we have to understand what is our audience as we do. And this one specifically is a specific type of Spanish that's effective here in the Los Angeles region, similar to what La Opinion. And when we go from there, of course, anything we create, we move it out. So this is, I think this is awesome, because we knew it creates, but it also translates and creates in different languages. And it's pretty effective. There's very little editing process. And my wife is my partner. She does a lot of social media, and she does in Spanish. And we've been going back and forth since the summer about it and how effective it is. And it's pretty effective based on what our needs are. What else can we say? So that's your basic ChatGPT. So the next part we go. Grammarly. Who uses Grammarly? One, if you use Grammarly. Two, if you don't, if you even know what it is. So we have a lot of ones, twos. All right. So I've been using Grammarly since about 2016. I get a report every week. So I'm approaching 3 million words that have been reviewed through Grammarly. And what I like to do is that's pretty much my editorial process. So here you'll see that okay, how can we go from generative to predictive? That would be a great check when it comes. Yes, it will. So now as we set in our goals, so we're going to go casual. We're going to inform. We're going to be general. And it's going to, because it's social, we're going to be informal. So Grammarly works on a AI, but most of these that we use is also on an OpenAI, the chat GPT-3. But when any software uses them, they kind of add their own mix into the chat. So reviews, whether I can do clarity, engagement, drive, engagement, delivery, style guide, correctness. This is pretty on point. Like we stowed, and this was written in a way that it was at least an 8th grade education. So that was our, social media is generally written at a very low reading level. So you can say this text is understood by a reader at least 8th grade, fairly for most adults to read. It's not complex. Average word length 4 words, reading time. So you get all your stats from here. But it's a good way to help, at least for me, I've used it in a way to make sure that it's correct and also within my style or in the client's voice. You really need to look at it. The next one, which I think is going more into an enterprise version. So if you're really doing a lot of copywriting, if you don't have a consultant and you have a team that's on there, I like Jasper. I think Jasper is a great marketing performance tool. I wouldn't recommend Jasper for the entrepreneur who is just trying to get their social out. This is something that really you have your own organization and what to spread awareness of how to do AI. Yeah, if you have a team. So public relations is similar. You're creating copy, you're doing outreach. It just depends on, you know, what's your ask and whether you're brand recognition or if you're doing, you're trying to get some brand awareness to go into a marketing funnel that for sales. So again, I would say this is more enterprise version. You can create campaigns, you can optimize SEO. It does it all. So ChatGPT would be the raw version, like getting the raw. Jasper is, we have a system to create and save within your client, and you can create client voices from it. So let's go into the dashboard. So this is the Jasper dashboard. And it's based on ChatGPT 3. So it's still the same AI. It's just organized in a way that I did AI posts. So I'm going to do a blog for AI Week to speak about key points. So you see the prompt is actually worked within it. They say, I want to do an AI week. I want to select a voice. I actually put the brand voice of LA Chamber. So you can put the brand voice. It will go and read any website. Save. And business use. Yeah. Well, workflow. Audience. Who's my audience? So it's creating a blog based on, and I just did it really quickly. If we can go into deeper, we can create more complex. It can be tailored to your clients. If you're using it with your own business or your own team, you're creating blogs in more detailed. Of course, as in anything, you have to really read and make sure everything's right, make sure that it fits. But there we go. This is a complete blog for content marketing in the voice of the LA Chamber. We have other tools. We can check for plagiarism on this one. Plagiarism checker, of course, is a paid amount, but I feel that you really want to make sure that if you're doing this and you want to protect yourself, that it's worth it. Word count, it's 539 characters, reading time 2 minutes. As similar to that, you can also put any links in. You can add images. You can draft it. You can put it in progress. So if you're looking at team, it's draft, it's in progress. You can put it within your area. And due date, this is due 30th. This is assigned to Lewis. So this is actually something, of course, I found it similar to my CRM systems when we're creating a CRM system, but it's almost like a project managed system specifically for content marketing. And it's amazing. The next one is Copy AI. Again, this is enterprise version. And this is something that, again, it's similar. You have a platform. You want to create content, brief, blog post. You put the input. I would say that this one's here is it's great. It actually, this AI, not going into details, we're running out of time, will give you recommendation. So we'll read you, it'll know your voice, and then it'll give recommendations specifically to what you can do. Grammarly does the same, but this Copy AI is probably the best in regards to that. If you want to really have the detailed writing and development of your content, this one does it. It has, and it also has new features that just were introduced, and this is introducing AI Sales OS. So you want to put AI in your entire sales process, from lead enrichment to prospecting to deal management. You can get a pre-built workflow, and the workflows are something that you establish in your pipeline, and whether you use a CRM like Monday, High Level, all the different CRMs, they create the workflows. This helps with the AI in the content marketing aspect of it. So let's go back. So AI is going to be everywhere. You'll see it integrated into hardware, software. It's everywhere. I'm already seeing it. I think every day you open it, and you're like, whoa, there's AI. It's amazing. And I think it is the rush, the mad gold rush. And people are going to keep on saying AI is just been creating. People are going to use the API integrations to ChatGPT to create their own, and they're trying to get free just to grab people. So take advantage of it now. Use free first. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Then invest if it makes sense for your organization. Chrome extensions, use the Chrome extensions. They're out there. They're amazing. They help you with your workflow. And AI integration software, hardware, such as Google, Microsoft, Apple. Even in my, I use Google Workspace, and they're already having AI integrations with their AI. I'm seeing in all the software that I use with clients, whether it's the CRM implementation, email marketing, social media management, everything's integrating AI. This is the GPTs. So if you haven't used GPTs, these are the GPTs. You can create your own GPT, or you can use writing, productivity, analysis here, WebPilot. And I think GPTs are good. Like, I'll use this one here. So I had a client who was doing an RFP, and they want to do the RFP. They go RFP. All of you who know RFPs are technical, huge. So I created GPT to upload the PDF, the entire RFP, and then so that if I was referring or writing the RFP, that I could refer to it, and I can say like, I don't know. What are the, okay. This is qualification. So it's helpful because those of you who write for RFPs, I know a lot of businesses here and the chamber pushes contracting and such. And we talk about getting in there, but the process of creating the RFP and writing is a complex one. So even though there's a lot of contracting opportunities out there, and I know the chamber and Daryl has been pushing this, and it's great, but the writing aspect of it and reading the technical, this is a helpful one. As you see, it comes out with an answer off the RFP. Proposed disqualified from the duty process for reasons belonging to organizational conflict, non-compliance, false misleading certification, and prohibitive interest. So when you're writing and you're kind of like, I knew where that was, but was that on this page or this section? You can just, upload it and refer it. And that's something that I think it's helpful for technical writing and digesting mass amount of information all at once to help you with your writing flow. Again, Adobe has it. You can start the chat. You can create logos with Adobe within ChatGPT-4. So that's amazing. I didn't go into the graphic design element of it. I mean, that I would say is a complete new webinar. And I think Roberto touched on it briefly yesterday, but the creative of graphic design, I've used it already for my clients and different aspects of it, social, print, and it's pretty good.
Are websites becoming irrelevant? If so, what is taking their place?
I think websites are important because it's one point of your marketing funnel of getting information and collecting information. But it might be irrelevant in some cases, depending on what is your primary objective. So it depends on your organization. Sometimes when I work with a client, I see, well, what's their end goal? And does a website is required? I know a lot of people have been pointing to their social, or they're pointing to a linked, and so it just depends on what you want to do. I've noticed that when I go to some clients, they're putting their Google My Business as their primary connector.
Oh, wow.
So it really depends on what your organization and what's your goal. But I do believe in websites. I think it's your primary method to control. And if that answers the question.
I think it does. All right. So another question. How long do you think we have until AI is everywhere and since it's advancing so fast?
That's a good question. I think that the race, we already see it. I mean, it's been out a year and we're already seeing that people are trying to implement it and at the enterprise version. And I think that we need to get to a point where we're speaking to AI through natural language without typing. I think that's the next step. And engagement. I know that the big hardware tech companies are looking at that, as that's the next step, is just having AI to speak to and give direction and control, whether it's your Nest or your whatever engagement you have, that's all connected. So from the other perspective is, and I've been seeing this during last fall, I use a few CRMs, customer relation management systems that are a catch-all, and they have AI. And the complexity of that is having an AI connect to the different ones. And you're seeing it already because ChatGPT-3 has the ability to connect into different, like if you use Zapier to connect to different areas, it already is you doing that. So we're probably looking at maybe, I'm going to say at what level, next year, you're going to probably see mass implementation already done. And now people are trying to see what is the best out there and what is the next step. I think the next step is definitely having natural language and giving direction to the AI and having it more engaging. I think that's the next step.
Next question. How do you balance speed, authenticity when using these tools? Do you have a thorough review so that it doesn't sound too AI-ish?
Yes. So it goes into brand voice. And there is a way to create the brand voice, not only within the marketing aspect of it. So if you have a client or your organization and you're developing a brand voice of who you're directed to, who is your customer avatar and who you're looking at, you have to create that within the AI. So ChatGPT is a little bit more work, especially with the because it's meant more for engagement, but you have to do a little bit more work in the prompts to get it right. And then even then, I wouldn't never have just to post what's coming out. You have to always edit it and look at it to make sure that it matches the brand voice. So you do have the human element always is there to understand, okay, this doesn't sound right. It's funny because I already look on social and I'm on it every day and I say, oh, this is straight out of ChatGPT. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, even with the little emojis, I was like, the little emoji is the first clue, like really who does all of that? And I think that is something that you have to really be good at the prompt, and practicing with the prompts is what gets you to the point of having the ability to have a good brand voice.
Next, how can we go from generative AI to predictive AI? That will be a game changer for comms, or I guess folks in the communication space.
Yeah, I think that is a good question, and I really don't know on that. I mean, again, it's exploding. I mean, just to keep up on AI it's just moving at such a rapid pace, and everyone's jumping on because it is an open platform that people are creating their own things. So it depends on how learning, because I did read somewhere that the learning has been more as exponential and is more than it was expected to be at this point. So we'll see. And I feel that government's going to come in to regulate and kind of hold back, because we go into the ethics and transparency aspects of it. So you might see some government intervention if it moves too fast.
Alrighty. If you have your own organization and want to spread awareness, how do I get AI to explain our mission? I think you answered that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did. It really depends on what you're doing for your mission. I mean, and if you're putting AI and if it's relevant to the mission, I would play with ChatGPT with that. I mean, that is it. If you go in there and have a discussion and going back and forth, it's if you don't have it, it's definitely kind of throwing things off the wall, a brainstorm type of way to do things, and it kind of gives you an outside perspective that isn't relevant to someone that you might know. I mean, it's just like, oh, okay,
Well,
I've done that before.
Yeah, if you have your own mission, it could be a nice way to make maybe a little bit more crisp and concise versus redrafting it and letting AI give a mission that's really not relevant to your organization. I mean, you could totally be misleading if you use AI. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Am I correct in assuming that if I provide the website info, the AI can create something from it? I think Roberto went through that. It was one of the products that he used that it was able to kind of capture, go to your website. I didn't write down which one it was, to kind of create content from it in form of a different draft versus, I think it was going to pull information to create content.
Yeah. So I know he shared one. I know Jasper does that. OpenAI does that. There are other free items that we can go through. I'm not sure if I'm sharing still, but there is different ones. Sharing. I'm going to go into this. So this is a free. This is free. So talk about prompt engineering. And this is called flowgpt.com. So it's like the GPT that's within OpenAI, but since people can use it, you have just a mass amount of people around the world going to this site and putting their GPTs on here, and they're putting the brand on here just to share. But
and this is a paid version, correct?
this is free.
Oh, it's free.
This is completely free. It's flowgpt.com. And really it's the prompt engineering use of specific tasks, and people want to share. So, you know, super lawyer, business assistant, whatever you want. Let me see, where's my chat? So give me an example of what you want. Someone gives me an example, like what's on here, something in prompt and you want AI to do.
I'll take that from the group. You know, is Patricia, are you still on?
Market and art of work.
I don't think Patricia's still on. Let me see.
Work.
Let me see. We have, how about James Duran? You want to share something that you want?
Well, I say market of art and work. So here's art on here. So these are all the prompts. You know, a lot of it is creating. I don't want this. Marketing strategy, art. And then it's already ready for the prompt. This was developed. Craft a winning strategy. Let me see. Okay, this seems like new prompts. So this is the prompt you can see. I want to mark as the marketing. So as we mentioned before in the prompts, you can have all this here and then business. So if you want something free and you don't want to go to ChatGPT 4, and if you want to look at prompts and see what works, this is a good place just to go in and see what's out there. So this was recommended as one of the top things because it goes with the whole open source, people coming together, sharing their ideas, putting things out. And I always liked open source type of engagement when it comes to tech, because that's where you see the real creative aspects of what's going on. Now you're going into AI best headshots. I'm seeing all this information on here. And really, I'm going to say that this is a good version, FlowGPT. AI is just, you can go deep into it. There's so much out there and so much creativity out there on AI that I would start with your basic ones. I didn't focus more on the graphic element of it. because there's so much graphic out there. ChatGPT does graphics. Let's just use Adobe to see what is source chat. I need a cover page for my RFP. I am a mechanic. So there you go.
All right. So you're using ChatGPT for it.
Yeah, but I'm also using the GPT from Adobe Express.
I'm still mystified and impressed. How about some tips on how much I need to identify who I or my company are to give an AI engine context? Or is it more important to provide context on who my target customer base is?
For generation, you definitely want to, I guess that's part of your strategy. So I would create a strategy first of marketing specific to your consumer, and ChatGPT could do that, help you do that. If you don't want to hire a professional, I do feel that one of my final thoughts is AI is a collaborative partner. It's here to stay, but you have to have ethical integration. And it's also creates continuous learning and adaptation. But you definitely should ask professional. On the Flow GPT, it really is what Flow GPT is kind of like a bunch of GPTs in one site that is completely just out there. And it's we didn't even get into the putting the extensions on your Chrome. So if you use Chrome and go into Chrome extensions, just look at it. They have also AI resources there. But the Flow GPT is just people from around the world creating GPTs and throwing them in there, and so that you can find it. It's free, it's open, and it's a good way if you want to see what's out there.
And so you would just go into Chrome and type in GPT and it'll
flowgpt.com. That is a website. Now, the actual Chrome extensions are within Chrome. And there's tons of Chrome extensions in the Chrome Web Store. You go in there and there's all kinds of education developer tools, workflow and planning tools, just a lot that it goes into the little tab, your extension tabs up on top of your Chrome browser. It's tons of it.
Yeah, we're trying to get something going with Google. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we can continue this conversation, because I mean, we can go on and on every single day and give bits, and maybe on your social media, if everyone connects with you, you can share some tips to kind of help guide them. Or do you have your information where folks can reach you at?
Yeah, I'm pretty much Blue Icon Communications, Luis Reyes. I mean, I've been on there on social. It's easy to find. LinkedIn is where I personally, if you do an invite, again, I'll send the actual slide deck and some resources to everyone once if you signed up, we'll get you the information automatically. And if you have any questions, just throw me a DM.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Luis. Again, we will continue our conversation on Friday, but now I'm going to introduce Maida Braga, account executive at Delta Airlines, who will share some tips and perks on how to get points and travel far.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for this amazing presentation. It's impressive, like how every time that we hear about AI, we figure out different things that we can use and leverage those tools. They're very helpful in our day-to-day life, saving time, getting other ideas, other tools. At Delta Airlines, we have been using AI in so many areas, starting to forecast the demand, using AI to help our pilots to calculate their flight path, using AI in our marketing assessment, using AI in customer service. So there's so many areas, and it's great to hear all the efforts that the chamber is doing on that to teach all of us how to better navigate those tools.
Mhm.
But I'm here to tell a little bit more about Delta as an airline. Delta Airlines, we are the largest US carrier. We fly daily to more than 4,000 flights to over 280 destinations in the world, covering the 6 continents. We are the largest airline in US. We fly from different hubs. Our main hub is Atlanta, but we also have very strong operations out of LAX. We're the #1 carrier here. Salt Lake City, Seattle, Detroit, Minneapolis, New York, Boston, many others. And when you think about Delta, you cannot forget about our partners. We're no airline without them. So we have a partner to every single region that we fly. To Mexico, you can use Aeromexico. From US to South America, we recently partnered with LATAM Airlines. They are the largest carrier in South America. When you think about transatlantic, you need to consider Air France, KLM, Virgin Atlantica. And you think about Asia, cannot forget about Korean Air, Air China Eastern. So all of them are partners at Delta, and we work with those airlines to take you from the US to international destinations. And if you want to have a tailored opportunity, why not get a private jet? Delta Airlines last year acquired a company that's called Wheels Up. They are a private jet provider. Their planes can take passengers from 4 to 12 passengers anywhere in the world that you need. So if you need a coach, need a private service, or want to travel with our commercial flights, reach out to me. My name is Maíra. We're one of the sponsors of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. So I'm here to help with your travel needs. I will share my contact information in the chat, so feel free to reach out to me to any travel needs that you have. Thank you, Olivia, for the partnership.
Well, thank you, Maíra, for sharing. And, you know, at a few, I guess, in the coming weeks, you'll share more a little bit about Wheels Up and how folks can take advantage of it. And I thank you for your time. We want to thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us today. So have a great day.